Okay, so.
Ruben, was that a little bit like Nottingham Forest in that you played really well in patches? You didn't concede a goal this time, but you still didn't look like scoring a goal.
Yeah, I think again we created some chances. The game was completely different from Nottingham, of course, against a different opponent, but we had the same lack of goal. We create situations. Sometimes we did it well, and Ederson was there. So it's really important to score goals to win football matches.
Hi, Ruben. You didn't want to come in midway through the season. Are we now, because you did come in obviously midway through the season, are we now seeing the benefits of you working these players for longer? Do you think there'll be a benefit for next season because of that, even if not ideal in the moment?
In the moment, it's still really hard every day. But of course, you can imagine that next season is going to be so much different. That's why I'm always saying that I'm in the rush. So because we are suffering a lot, everybody here is suffering a lot with all these changes, and we have to show something in the next year. So right away. If not, I have the feeling that all this that is happening in this moment, we are not taking advantage. So I think that is important thing. In the good days, you think like that. It was important to come season, to work with the players, to improve the players as soon as possible, to start the next season with a better idea what we want. So and today was that day that we play well. Of course, you can feel it in the game. Is not there in the top level, the intensity, but you can also understand the context of both teams in this moment.
Yeah, hi Ruben, the last two home games now in the league against Arsenal and Manchester City, it's felt like the team's improved as the game has gone on, really. Does that show that maybe you're a better team in the league table is showing this year for all that's gone wrong, and does it help with that belief that maybe when you get things right, you can compete with these teams, and the players are kind of learning that during the game almost, and by the second half they're kind of like, yeah, we can do this?
Sometimes every game has his story. We need to sometimes to give time to the team to understand the game and then to face the game. If you remember the first games at home, we suffered a goal in the first 10 minutes, and that can change the momentum, can change the way we face the game. The strategy is we have to forget the strategy because we are 1-0 down in the first minutes. I think these players proved. Not just this season, but in the seasons before, that when they are like this, really focused, they can win any game.
Laurie.
Casemiro wasn't in your team for a period before, but now he seems to be, a pretty major feature of it. What does that show for next season? Obviously, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He said he wants to stay, but he's on big wages. How has he come back into your thinking?
We need the important thing is that Casemiro he won everything with Real Madrid. He wasn't playing because I understood in the moment that he was not the best option to the way we want to play, but he continued to work. So I look at my players in the same way. If you work, if you improve what we ask of them, they have the opportunity. If they play well, they continue. So that was the situation of Casemiro. The credit is all the player. So he's our player and continue to be our player.
Doug.
Gary Neville was quite critical, I think, in his analysis after the game, saying that both sets of players looked too happy with the point. That there wasn't enough passion. They should be more disappointed in not winning. He called it a love-in between both sides. Can you understand that perspective that derby games should have more passion and more kind of blood and thunder? He said.
I understand everything. I understand that. Gary Neville is critical about everything, so I understand that part. And then I understand that we are not fighting. We are in the moment that we are doing the worst season in history. Manchester City won everything in the past. This season is struggling. So we are not in the best moments to give the best spectacle to every fans. And then when we are not fighting for the big things, of course it's it's different. But you have to look at the context of the game, and I understand the critical aspect of the players that played in this game in a different way, because they were fighting every time for the titles. So it's a different context.
Last question, Rob.
Hi, Ruben. I know that you said before that you don't want to be a team that plays on in transition in a low block. You feel the players are more comfortable playing in that way right now. Pepper's been in and said that for the last 9 years he was here that United have always been a transitional team, always played the best way when they're playing like that. Does that show how tough it is going to be for you to turn it around? You're not just sort of turning 1 or 2 seasons, you're talking about sort of a decade of playing like that, and you're not trying to turn it around and play more on the front foot.
That I can say that we want to be competitive in the short space of time. But to do that, to be really dominant against any opponent, is going to take a lot of time. That I can say. So we have to use different weapons of playing a different style when we face different opponents. And in that way of playing, City is maybe the best team in the world, and they are doing, like you said, for a while. But the important thing is that if you compare this game against the Arsenal, we had some moments that we did the same a little bit to City, and against Arsenal we didn't do. Was clearly transitions. Today was a little bit different. So it's we are improving, but to play in this way that they play for many years is going to take a long time.
Thank you.